This video is narrated. If you prefer the video with subtitles only, please click on the link in the description box below. March 22, 1984. Calgary International Airport, Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Pacific Western Airlines Flight 501 is preparing for a flight to Edmonton. In command is a 43-year-old captain with 10,000 hours of flying time. The co-pilot is a 39-year-old first officer with 6,800 hours of flying time. There are 114 passengers and 5 crew members. The plane is a 3-year-old Boeing 737-200. Flight 501 taxis into runway 34. The pilots hear a loud bang. The aircraft veers to the left. The captain decides to reject the takeoff. He activates the thrust reversers. The pilots assume that a tire has blown on the left main gear. The aircraft slows down to taxi speed. The pilots notice that the left engine low pressure unit RPM is indicating 0%. The illumination of annunciator panel lights associated with the loss of electrical power produced by the left engine is also noted. The pilots exit the runway through taxiway Charlie 4. The first officer reports to the tower that they are clear of the runway. The captain decides to continue slowly up Charlie 4 while the pilots continue to determine the source of their problem. The purser knocks on the cockpit door. Upon entering the cockpit, the purser asks the pilots whether they had blown a tire. She then states that there is fire at the rear of the aircraft. The captain asks about the fire. The fire warning bell sounds briefly. The tower confirms the existence of the fire. The tower states, "Considerable amount off the back. On the left side engine and it's starting to diminish there. There's a fire going on the left side." The purser states, "The whole left side, the whole back side of it is burning." The captain advises the purser to prepare for an evacuation. The captain then discharges a fire bottle on the left engine. The first officer requests that emergency services be dispatched. He also advises the tower that they have no fire warning. The tower advises the pilots that trucks are on the way and then suggests the pilots meet the trucks at taxiway Juliet. The captain tells the first officer that he is going to Juliet. The first officer then advises the tower of the captain's intentions. The tower advises the pilots that it would probably be best to hold at their current position. The tower informs the pilots that flames are coming out of the left side of the aircraft. The cockpit fire bell warning activates. The purser re-enters the cockpit and reports that it is getting bad at the back. The first officer informs the tower that they now have a fire warning. The captain activates the second fire warning bottle and directs the purser to prepare for an emergency evacuation. The evacuation begins shortly thereafter. Pacific Western Airlines Flight 501 makes a successful aborted takeoff at Calgary International Airport. Everyone on board survives, but 4 passengers suffer serious injuries. Field examination of the engine established that an uncontained failure of the 13th stage high-pressure compressor disc initiated the engine failure and subsequent fire. Examination of the failed disc showed the presence of extensive fatigue cracking emanating from the snap radius on the rear face of the disc. Fatigue cracking was also present at the tie bolt holes of the disc. These cracks had progressed significantly, resulting in the release of a segment of disc during the takeoff roll. The released segment penetrated the engine casing and ruptured the wing inboard fuel cell adjacent to the engine. Examination of the fractures indicated that crack initiation and early propagation was the result of high cycle fatigue. High cycle fatigue is a type of fatigue caused by small elastic strains under a high number of load cycles before failure occurs. The observed superimposed pattern of core surge striations was indicative of concurrent occurrence of lower cycle fatigue. This conjoint action of high cycle and low cycle fatigue continued over approximately 70 to 80% of the pre-crack depth, after which an abrupt transition to a wholly low cycle fatigue mode occurred, which persisted to the point of instantaneous overload. Release of the segment of the disc occurred through the overload extension of the pre-crack at the number 8 tie bolt hole, and subsequent linking with the 2 largest cracks in the snap diameter. The nature of the fatigue crack initiation at the tie bolt holes was not established. It was noted that the fatigue was associated with regions of light fretting on the surface of the disc at the tie bolt holes. This fretting could be induced by vibrations between the disc and the number 4 hub shaft front flange. It proved impossible to correlate the various types of fatigue striations on the fractured surfaces with various cyclic stress conditions that may have led to the fatigue failure of the disc. As a result, it was not possible to determine precisely at what point in the disc life fatigue cracking originated. However, analysis showed that fatigue initiation was an event of comparatively recent origin of the life of the disc. It was concluded that high cycle fatigue originated from a particular engine condition, which developed progressively in the life of the engine. In response to the incident, Pacific Western Airlines instituted a combined recurrency emergency procedures training for pilots and cabin crew. This was in order to improve total crew coordination during emergencies. Emergency procedures training now also emphasized the need to stop the aircraft immediately and determine the cause of the rejected takeoff. The Canadian Aviation Safety Board also recommended that critical Pratt & Whitney JT8D engine components be ensured to comply with the manufacturer's specification during reassembly at any overhaul facility.